feet. Sat by the river and it made me complete. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need somewhere to begin. I came across a fallen tree. I saw the branches of it looking at me. Is this a place we used to love? Is this the place that I've been dreaming of? Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need somewhere to begin. So if you have a minute, why don't we go talk about it somewhere only we know? This could be the end of everything. So why don't we go somewhere only we know? Somewhere only we know. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need somewhere to begin. And if you have a minute, why don't we go talk about it somewhere only we know? This could be the end of everything. So why don't we go somewhere only we know? This could be the end of everything. So why don't we go somewhere only we know? Somewhere only we know. Thank you so much. You may be quiet now. Hello, everybody. I hope that you're all very well. Well, hello to you all as well. We have some close family here at the house of McLennan Smith in Westville, Durban. And, well, a number of you joining us from around the world, and thank you very much for being with us this evening for this special Christmas songs and stories. I would like to introduce, of course, my beautiful wife, dressed in sky blue this evening. And no one can see her because that is her wont. But there she is, operating everything and giving me instructions, as has become her wont, of course. Now, it's going to be a slightly different sort of a concert from the ones that we normally have, in that that's probably the only song that many of you will know until we get to the finale, the words of which are in the description of the YouTube stream. So if you wish to sing along with us, as this group are going to be doing, they're also going to be banging various things. So perhaps you'd like to go and get a pot and a wooden spoon or something like that, and then you can sing along to it. The other four songs, however, will probably be relatively unfamiliar unless you are familiar with the, what would we describe it, sort of cathedral choirs, I suppose, of the UK, which do a lot of these sorts of carols. Anyway, I have a huge love of Christmas music. And now when I say Christmas music, I must qualify this. I do not enjoy Boney M's Christmas. I know, yes, I know it's shocking to a lot of people. It hurts my soul to listen to Boney M's Christmas. Things like Walking in a Winter Wonderland, which my wife desperately wanted me to sing tonight, not really my thing. Quite accept that it is many people's thing. It was just not mine. And so these songs come from a tradition that began in my heart. I remember when my father first played me the Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols from King's College, and he had an ancient recording which was made from an equally ancient recording. It was a tape that he used to play. Oh, the light's gone out, never mind. It was a tape he used to play in the car on the way to school, and we used to start listening to it in September in the build-up to Christmas, because that was the start of the 3rd term. Anyway, I loved the sound of the old King's College chapel, the echo that it gave, and it just was the most, I don't know, inspirational thing. And I'm not a particularly religious fellow, but at school, when I sang in the choir, we used to do something very similar. We used to do our own 9 lessons and carols, and in the choir, because the school was too big for the chapel for everyone to fit in, we had to do it 4 times. And it was my favorite 4 evenings of the school year when we got to sit there and sing in the chapel. Now, for many of you living in the northern hemisphere, what I'm going to say next is a bit weird, because here in the southern hemisphere, of course, for those of you who don't know and aren't very good at geography, it's summer now. And so those evenings in the chapel, it was just as dusk sort of settled. The smell of the gardens around the place, especially the star jasmine, and the incense in the chapel, and the quiet sort of contemplation that only comes at dusk and dawn, just made and created the most beautiful atmosphere, along with this magnificent music that I just really love. And so I'm going to sing you some of those songs this evening. I will be joined a little bit later by a special surprise. It's not my wife. She refused to sing. I did try and make her. And the only other thing to say about what we're going to sing here is that I didn't really ever foresee myself doing it with one guitar, and thankfully I've got a decent voice coming to join me a little bit later. But Sting did an album called If on a Winter's Night. I don't know why it was called If on a Winter's Night, but If on a Winter's Night in the Durham Cathedral. I actually forget when it was, but he rearranged all these old traditional carols and did them beautifully, and I thought, well, perhaps I should give it a go on a much, much smaller scale, although the space that we're in is as magnificent as the Durham Cathedral. Thank you, Paige, mother-in-law. There we are. So, there we are. The next carol, which I think we'll get right into now, after a sip of apple juice. Fermented apple juice. Is called the Coventry Carol. Now, it comes from the 15th or 16th centuries. You find various references for these things. And it depicts the Christmas story that is not very nice. It's the massacre of the innocents as perpetrated by Herod during the Christmas period, when all young boys under the age of 2 were killed around the Bethlehem area. And this is a lullaby sung to the children by the mothers. And it's called the Coventry Carol. Presumably it comes somewhere from Coventry, but in fact the author is unknown, although it comes from a play that used to be performed way back when, there, just after the Middle Ages. Okay, here we go. The Coventry Carol.
Luli Lula, thou little tiny child, bye bye Luli Lulai, thou little tiny child, bye bye Luli Lulay. Little tiny child, bye bye Luli Lulay, thou little tiny child, bye bye Luli Lulay. Luli child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly, thou little tiny child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly. Oh, sisters too, how may we do for to preserve this day, this poor youngling for whom we do sing. Bye bye, lolly, 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 lola, thou little tiny child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly, thou little tiny child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly. Herod the king in his raging charged he hath this day his men of might in his own sight, all young children to slay. Lolly, lola, thou little tiny child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly, thou little tiny child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly. That woe is me, poor child, for thee, and ever mourn this day for thy parting, neither say nor sing. Bye bye, lolly, 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 lola, thou little tiny child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly, thou little tiny child. Bye bye, lolly, lolly.
Thank you so much. And it was not done with a number of me or people from the audience. That was a loop pedal that helped me. And basically what happens is you just record the lines you want, for those of you who don't know, and then it plays them back at you and you can harmonize, which works quite nicely if you have a wife who refuses to sing with you. Now, I'm going to introduce you to KZN's probably premier young soprano, KZN being KwaZulu-Natal, where we are now. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Emma Corkett.
Hello.
All right, now the song we're going to sing to start with is called In the Bleak Midwinter. It's a poem by Christina Rossetti. She died some time ago, many hundreds of years ago. And originally it was set to music by Gustav Holst, who's probably most famous for The Planets. And then it was redone by a chap called Harold Dark. When I think of the name Harold Dark, I imagine a human being wandering about in the cold of winter in England in a sort of drab brown outfit, but he wrote some beautiful music. Perhaps he was actually a wild person, but I don't know. He wrote it in 1909, and he was, in fact, as far as I'm aware, one of the King's College Cambridge choir masters way back then. Anyway, I've never actually sung this with a choir before. I've never actually sung it live before at all. Would you pop that on the stairs? Thank you very much. And it's slightly ridiculous because, of course, it's called In the Bleak Midwinter. And it's anything but in the bleak midwinter in South Africa during Christmas. And so, well, I first became familiar with it from an album of King's College Cambridge's, and I used to listen to it in the bush when I was forced to drive guests over Christmas instead of being with my family. And it used to make me feel tremendously nostalgic. And I don't know if it'll give you that feeling. Many of you will be in the winter right now, and perhaps it will. It's in 4 verses, so I know that you probably want to clap after you hear this voice emerge, but please wait to the end of the 4 verses before you do so. That goes for most of you lot up here. In fact, that's mainly for you lot up here. Thank you. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. In the Bleak Midwinter. It's about 75 degrees Fahrenheit outside. 25 Celsius. It's not bleak, it's lovely. Are you ready?
I am.
Good. Am I ready? Turn this up slightly.
In the bleak midwinter, from
can I give him? Give my heart. Give my heart.
I told you she was good. Yes, of course. We are taking questions. Yes.
Okay, well, I've been singing for 9 years. I started when I was 7 and now at 16. I'm still loving it. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, good. Everyone's in awe. I don't blame them. I got shivers the first time I heard that, and I got shivers again now. Right, we're going to sing now a song called A Soul Cake. Now, the words for this song, sorry, won't you pass me the iPad because my brain is so small I can't remember when it was written. It was written, lyrics first heard in the late 19th century, but they think it was much older than that, so it was first published around the late 19th century, and there have been variations of it throughout the years, sung by choirs, but mostly it's sung by, or was thought to be sung by, poor people going begging on the streets around the towns of England. Derbyshire, I believe, is where it began. I don't know why it started there, but there it was. Perhaps it was a particularly poor place. And it wasn't actually a Christmas song to start with. It was sung on All Hallows Eve, which is now known as Halloween, of course, or on All Saints' Day, or on All Souls' Day, and that's it's October 31st, and then November 1st and November 2nd. And it was poor people going around asking for spicy cakes, basically. They'd be given like a spicy biscuit about that size with a cross in it, and it would have spices in it, the sweet spices, and probably currants and cherries and maybe bits of other dried fruit in it. And that was the soul cake, so that's what these people used to go around asking for, and then they'd also ask for some money, and if they were lucky they'd get some. And then in the 60s, Peter, Paul and Mary, the folk trio, did a version of the song where they treated it as a Christmas song. I'm not sure why they did that. And then Sting did it in that album that I mentioned called If on a Winter's Night, and he did it as a Christmas song. And so we're going to do it as a Christmas song, and it's a good fun song. For me, the way it's performed is that there's a slight threat from the beggars that's saying, you can imagine little street urchins knocking about in the sort of 19th century, 18th century, going to a door and saying, "Missus, can I have a soul cake, maybe an apple, a pear, a peach, or a cherry? Or if that be too hard?" And if he was met with a negative, my imagination says that, the threat was, well, we'll come back later and take it ourselves if you don't give it to us, sort of thing. That's what I think, anyway. All right. Emma, are you ready?
Yes.
The soul cake, here we go. All right. Do anything else? No. Oh. I do need to do one more thing. I need to tell you that it was done with a backing track that I recorded about 3 or 4 years ago, and you'll, in the very deep registers of some of the choruses, you'll hear a man going, "God rest you merry gentlemen." That's not me. That is, in fact, my father, who is making his YouTube debut this evening, inadvertently. Thanks, Dad. Here we go.
A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum or a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, an apple, bitter, 3 for 4, 3 for him that made us all. A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, an apple, apple, a pear, a plum, or a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry.
God bless the master of this house and his mistress also, and all the little children that round your table grow. The cattle in your cradle, the dogs at your front door, and all that dwell within your house will wish you 10 times more.
A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, or a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, and 3 for him that made us all. God rest you, merry gentlemen, in nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Go down into the cellar and see what you can find. If your barrels are not empty, we hope that you'll be kind. We hope that you'll be kind with your apple and your pear. And we come no more a soul until Christmas time next year.
A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, or a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, and 3 for him that made us all.
The streets are very dirty, my shoes are very thin. I have a little pocket to put a penny in. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got a halfpenny, well, God bless you.
A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, or a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. A soul cake, please good missus, a soul cake, 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, and 3 for him that made us all.
Thank you so much. My wife and my mother-in-law said that that song is their favorite. Oh, we're okay. You've got this. You're under control here. Thank you. Yes, question. Robert, what kind of Christmas tree it is? It's a big one. It's a big Christmas tree that I fetched with my own hand in my father-in-law's very large car, and I'm very grateful that we didn't take the car belonging to my wife and I, because we'd still be driving back with it now. I don't know what kind of tree it is. It's not a South African tree. It is a gymnosperm of some description. It's a pine-ish type of a tree, yes. Pine, fir, it's a northern hemisphere type of a tree. It is sitting in a large vat of water, and interestingly, the pack of hounds that lives here drinks out of it regularly because obviously they like pine-scented water. Who can blame them? I think. Okay. Right, the final one. I know you're all desperate to get singing yourselves, and so we'll do one other, just the two of us, and then you can join us for the last one. This one is called I Saw 3 Ships Come Sailing In. Nobody seems to know why it is or where the ships come from, but it is a Christmas carol, and it's been sung by any number of people over the years. The choir of St. John's College in Johannesburg, for example, the choir of King's College, Cambridge, in England. It's been sung by Sting. I think that Alison Krauss did a version. It's been done many, many times by lots and lots of people. And it's a good, fun song. It makes us quite nervous because we have to remember to do various things, such as find our plectra. I have found my plectrum. And it's just about, I don't know, I mean, I really don't know what it's about. You'll hear the words and you'll have to decide for yourselves. It's about 3 ships which, as far as I'm aware, don't ever occur in the biblical versions of the birth that I've ever heard. Have you ever heard of 3 ships? No?
No.
No. All right. 3 ships. Here we go. ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning.
I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. And what was in those ships all 3 on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? And what was in those ships all 3 on Christmas Day in the morning? Our Savior Christ and His Lady on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Our Savior Christ and His Lady on Christmas Day in the morning. Pray with us, sail those ships all 3 on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Pray with us, sail those ships all 3 on Christmas Day in the morning. Oh, they're sailing to Bethlehem on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Oh, they're sailing to Bethlehem on Christmas Day in the morning.
Thank you so much. Okay, now, could you hand out the instruments? Are they handed out? Would everyone now bang your instruments? Ah, the sailors in the family. Say that again. Stop banging now. Ah, R. Beard saying the ship's arriving for the sailors at Christmas was a thrill. I'm sure it was. Thank you for that, R. Beard. Yes, by all means, questions. James, I'd love to record a Christmas album. Maybe we should. If I can get my wife to sing on it, and I will definitely prevail upon young Emma here to sing on it as well. I'd love to do that. Yes, this is the last song. This is the encore. Okay, now, everybody, this is the 12 days of the African Christmas, and if you wish to sing along, you can do so, because all the words are below the description of the YouTube video. It's all pretty simple. There is my wife. She is going to... were you on there? She will be playing the tambourine. Goodness, here we go. Okay, it's quite quick. There's an orchestra. It's just an orchestra playing. Emma and I have done this once, twice, maybe twice. We'll do our best to lead you through it. I imagine it's going to be a big noise, but it'll be fun. Here we go.
Yes, I'm ready.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me a lion in a sausage tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 2 turtle doves and a lion in a sausage tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love sends to me 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love sends to me 6 Egyptian geese and 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 7 darters swimming, 6 Egyptian geese, 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 8 monkeys dancing, 7 darters swimming, 6 Egyptian geese, 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 9 yowlers dancing, 8 monkeys climbing, 7 darters swimming, 6 Egyptian geese, 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 10 leopards leaping, 9 yowlers dancing, 8 monkeys climbing, 7 darters swimming, 6 Egyptian geese, 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 11 impala prancing, 10 leopards leaping, 9 yowlers dancing, 8 monkeys climbing, 7 darters swimming, 6 Egyptian geese, 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 12 elephants eating, 11 impala prancing, 10 leopards leaping, 9 yowlers dancing, 8 monkeys climbing, 7 darters swimming, 6 Egyptian geese, 5 golden-breasted buntings, 4 calling cuckoos, 3 frantic franklins, 2 turtle doves, and a lion in a sausage tree.
Well done, everybody. That was the encore. We have no more Christmas music, I'm afraid. Why is it playing back? That's your iPad. All right, everybody, all that remains for me to do is to say thank you very much for watching. It's been a joy to perform these songs. It's been an absolute joy to learn them. It's been an especial joy to sing with Emma.
Thank you for
Emma.
watching. Thank you, James.
Yes, let's give Emma a round of applause, please.
Thank you, thank you.
And then it remains for me to wish you a blessed Christmas. It's a difficult Christmas for many families. Some have lost loved ones who, as the old bidding prayer goes, are now celebrating with us on shores in a far greater light. Let's hope. And so I wish for you all a wonderful, safe, happy, different, but joyous Christmas, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you very much, and good night.